Hey guys, Asher coming at you today, and Watcher of Realms. Welcome to the video. I'm glad to have you all here chilling with me, talking a little bit of Watchers today. Sending some positive vibes your way, some love if you need it out there. Hey, I just was traveling this weekend and took a few days off playing actually for the first time since I started playing, and it's given me a nice time to kind of, I don't know, reflect on my Watcher of Realms journey. Take a look at some of the key tips that I wish that I knew when starting out this game. So whether you're a brand new player, an intermediate, maybe someone who's been playing for a few months, maybe you hit that plateau, hopefully some of these tips might serve as good reminders or refreshers or brand new information to help you clear through whatever you're going, or even save you time and frustration in the future. So let's just jump right into it here with tip number one, and that is take advantage of the free gear removal in this game. It's an amazing thing, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to remove gear from your heroes and swap out different things. So if you don't know how to build a hero in this game, well, what you can always do is just test out, because there's really no downside. You can test out, for example, I have attack bonus on this bangle, I have attack bonus on this amulet, and then I have crit damage on this ring. Okay, is this the best comp possible? I think it is for a damage dealer, for a lot of damage dealers, not all certainly in this game, but it's free to test out more crit damage. It's free to test out more attack bonus. It's free to test out more rage, attack speed. All of these things, it's totally free. So test out different builds. Take advantage of the free gear removal in this game. An additional bonus tip, when we talk about gearing heroes inside this game, generally this build is what people would recommend, right? For most, there's no hard and fast rule for every hero, but attack percentage, and crit damage for damage dealers. You can go to mabucket.com. I love Mabucket. Hope to get him back on the channel here soon. He has this beautiful this website. Not only the rankings of all of these heroes and where you would want to use them. You can see a grade for every area of the game, but also a recommendation on what exactly that you should go ahead and use in each specific gear slot for every single hero out there. So it's a great resource to use to kind of, especially at the beginning of the game, you're not going to know what every hero does. You're not going to know the best way to gear out every hero. It's overwhelming. So go ahead and use that as a resource. Start there, and then don't be afraid to experiment, because hey, it's free. Tip number two is use lords. Oh my God, it sounds obvious.
I'm so sick of being smarter than everyone else.
And I think that intuitively, a lot of us know, okay, yeah, we should use lords. It's awesome. We should use lords. But I feel like people say that, and sometimes they just don't do it. Maybe they only use one lord when they can use two. Maybe they build a team and include a lord or two, but only include maybe one other or two other heroes total from those factions. Now, in the beginning, of course, we can only operate with what we have on our account, but I cannot emphasize enough, this is why I included it as a tip in today's video, how strong lord bonuses are inside this game. You should absolutely take advantage of the lord skills. Increase faction allies' basic attributes by 15%. That alone is amazing. Increase faction allies' damage dealt to enemies under stun, freeze, immobilize, and other control effects by 30%. Increase faction allies' AoE damage by 25%. This is insane. And the good news is there's good lords, even epic, and there's even rare lords you can utilize in the beginning of this game. So not having the OP legendary lords is not an excuse to not take advantage of lord skills. Even on this one, every time a faction ally is deployed, all faction allies gain 5, 10, 20, and 35% attack speed, respectively, up to 35%. I mean, these abilities are tremendously powerful. It's going to help you skyrocket through those walls, those barriers, those plateaus in progression that you run into inside this game. Now, jumping into tip number three, guys, but it's an important reminder on lords too. You don't even have to play the lords necessarily to get those bonuses. And hey, you can't play every hero anyway. There's going to be two sitting out at all times. You can rotate them in and out, of course, but just because you're using a lord doesn't mean you have to actually use the lord. Just take take advantage of their stat bonuses, right? Tip number 3, guys, is you don't have to go all out DPS, all out nuke to do more damage overall inside this game. We just looked, for example, at Morrigan's Lord bonus, right? What is she doing? Well, she's coming in there and doing more damage, or everybody's doing more damage against enemies under freeze, immobilize, and other control effects, right? So make sure that we're taking advantage of 2 important elements of any team inside this game, and that is not, in the beginning, I just threw all my DPS in there. It was just more and more DPS everywhere, right? That's all I did in every level, and then eventually I ran into walls and I wasn't able to progress enough after that. It's very important to also utilize buffers and control, right? 2 of my personal favorites, and I made videos about these heroes as well, are going to be Mari. Mari's amazing, and we get her for free inside this game, guys. She's bringing freeze in a great big radius. She's bringing slow, and she's bringing debuffs to the table, right? She is one of the best examples, and we all get her on day 3. 2 other heroes that I have on this team are Laurel and Hollow. They're rage regenerators. It's great to have heroes like this on your team. Even if you don't totally max them out, they're gonna let everybody else do what they do best, damage, your nukers at least, right? It's gonna allow them to do a lot more of it. So having good control and having good buffers on your team are going to give you a tremendous advantage, even more so than just going all out nukage in this game. So tip number 4, guys, is going to be choke points and getting the maximum utility out of your ultimates. So let's go ahead and start setting up here. I'm just going to get all of my heroes on the board right now. I have some control in here. I have some support, right? I have kind of a nice balanced team, just like we're talking about, right? It's not all out nuke here. We only really have 1 nuker on this entire team, right? Now, I could probably use another melee unit, but we're going to be okay, right? So let's do this. Again, this might not be the most optimal build for the specific level. I kind of just jumped into everything to illustrate the point here. So let's get the last hero down, our rage regenerator. I should place our healer as well. So let me place the 6th hero. Here we go. And everything's going to be good. Okay. So we have all these ultimates. They're all coming up right now, right? In the beginning, a lot of players just spam the hell out of their ultimates. But that's not what it's all about, man. We want to take full advantage. First of all, we shouldn't really be using our ultimates when we don't need to, unless we're already positive we're going to be able to beat the level, right? But, you know, just haphazardly spamming ultimates, sometimes it can work. But eventually you're going to get to a point where you're going to need that discipline to understand what are these heroes doing and when should I be using their ultimates. So, you know, we talked about Mari, right? Our control. Let's just wait till, like, you know, this big mob comes this way. And then we can... hopefully it's a little bit more challenging than what we see right now. But Dolores, she's a buffer, right? You don't have to understand what all these heroes do right now for the intent of this video, but eventually you will, right? Take the time to read the skills and what your heroes are doing, especially in the early game. So we're going to go ahead and utilize Dolores. We're not going to use hat suits or DPS before we use the buffer, right? We want the buffer, then we want some control because we might get more damage, right? We might get more damage from the unit being debuffed or slowed. So we use our debuffers, and then we'll use our DPS. Now, obviously, this stage it's actually pretty easy. I just went on the next stage that I was on, right? But we want to use Hatsuit before Dolores runs out, right? And then once we use all of our ultimates and everything's done, right? We can use our Rage Regenerator. I'm trying to go quick before this battle is over. We can use Hollow. We can use our Rage Regenerator. We don't want to use Hollow's Rage Regen when we're already full on our ultimates, right? So make sure we're getting maximum synergy out of utilizing our ultimates in this game. So tip number 5, guys, I didn't even see somebody escape through in that last match too. We only 2-starred it. But tip number 5, guys, is going to be to go, see what I'm doing right now? It's tricky. It's tricky. In the beginning of any new level on any stage and anywhere inside this entire game, the first thing that we want to do is change to 1x speed, right? Unless we're supremely confident, right? We want to change to 1x speed, slow things down, understand the map, and understand the entire cadence of the battle, right? Meaning that, you know, different enemies are going to spawn at different times. We always want to make sure that we look at our enemies ahead of time, understand which type of champions our heroes are going to be the most optimal to use, right, in any given situation. Look at their magic resistance. Are we going to want to use marksman? Are we going to want to have a lot of range, right? All of this stuff matters. So, like, even right here, right, like, I might want to restart because I might want to have our melee unit Torador in range of Dolores to get full, you know, full buff, you know. And going back to our last tip too, We might have to burn it right here. We are going to burn the ultimate, but ideally we'd wait till Dolores' ultimate is ready to go ahead and use Hatsu's ultimate, right? Let's go ahead and add some control here in Mari. Anyway, we want to change to 1x speed. That way we can understand the movie that is the battlefield, that is any given stage. And when I say movie, there's usually a climax when the boss engages, right? There's usually a beginning, there's always a beginning, there's always a middle, there's always an end. There's different enemies at different times. You might have to rotate, there might be air units coming in that you didn't even notice at first, which is exactly what happened to me here, right? So we'll restart, we'll change our strategy a little bit. But I think that the main point here, the thing that I want to convey the most, is methodically approach every single level as almost a movie and totally understand what is going on in this movie at all times. It might be wise to actually put our healers down first. That way we can see their ranges and understand where we're going to need to have them. In this situation, it looks like I'm going to be okay. But of course, approach every stage like it's, you know, something that a book that you need to uncover. And again, don't be afraid to go 2x speed when there's a lull in the action, but go 1x speed. Don't be afraid to restart a lot, because we want to optimize and complete it the 3 stars on every level. We want to do it in the best way possible, right? That way we can auto battle in an efficient manner in the future. Before we get to tip number 6, guys, just a quick bonus tip for you. Make sure you take advantage of the shop. I have a whole video that I will direct you to after this video. It'll be perfect viewing for you on everything that I'm buying in the black market, the guild shop, the arena shop, and the awakening shop. But make sure you take advantage as a quick bonus. Tip number 6, guys, is be very careful, especially in the early game, of where you're spending your resources, specifically your skill crystals, right? They're one of the most challenging things to actually get your hands on inside this game. And I know at least with me, guys, in the beginning, I was throwing around all my skill dust and crystals on everybody, not even recognizing who the heck these heroes even were and if I was actually going to use them. Be careful. I would recommend everybody, before you actually use, let me see somebody who I know that I've used, who I have almost all the way upgraded here. Hatsu, right? You're not going to regret investing in Hatsu. But before you start using these incredibly valuable, I have none, legendary skill crystals, right? I would advise, I mean, you can use a skill dust and upgrade, you know, get a feel for their skills, but I would advise using a champion for at least a week before you make that massive decision to invest in legendary skills. Now, a lot of heroes, after you've been playing the game for a while, you'll recognize they're really good. You'll know they're S tier, and of course, in those situations, go ahead and invest. But I still like to understand, you know, how valuable, how am I gonna be using this hero? Because listen, you could pull a very good hero that you already have a hero that just does it a little bit better, and you don't actually use them as much as other people may, because no 2 accounts are going to be the same. So what I'm really trying to say, guys, is don't feel like you have to take every champion hero. Don't feel like you have to take every hero up to level 60 even to level 50. Try out and experiment with heroes in this game, guys, before you invest your hard-earned resources. This game throws a lot of resources at you, especially in the beginning, but recognize those resources are going to turn to being plentiful to very scarce in a pretty short amount of time. After playing the game for a couple weeks, you're gonna be like, wow, I should not have gone that crazy with spending all of those resources. Invest wisely, invest carefully in heroes in this game. Tip number 7, guys, and this is a very basic one, but it's super important, right? Is save your summoning crystals for 2x events. Save them for events. It's really, honestly, unless you're the biggest whale and you just don't mind wasting money and resources and everything else in this game, it really doesn't make any sense to be pulling and summoning, especially a bunch of heroes in this game, when there's not an event that gives you double the chance of getting your hands on some of these really strong legendary heroes. So a pretty basic tip, but a very important one. Number 8, take advantage of events in this game. Events give you incredible bonus rewards, right? And you can even see on the event calendar what the best rewards are going to be for even said event, and you can kind of plan your week out, right? It's actually really convenient what they do here. So make sure you're taking advantage of events. What I mean is, when we're using our stamina potions, right? We get a lot of stamina potions. You can buy stamina potions in the shop. The best time, or the best way to use them, is correlating to an existing event going on right now. That way you're not just getting whatever resources you were going to get anyway, but you're also getting the bonuses from all these events. And again, they're very generous with, trials and events, and even, heck, even the Dragon Pass, which technically is not an event. But make sure you're always having an eye on what's going on and using your decisions in terms of when you want to do X, Y, or Z in the game corresponding to an event. Hey, there's an arena event going on right now. Maybe it's a perfect time to go ahead and grind the arena. The rewards are pretty solid. It seems like it would be, right? So always take a look at events and use your stamina potions corresponding with an event to kind of double dip on your rewards. Tip number 8 is going to be a quick daily priority list, right? Things that I do every day and that I never miss. Number 1 is going to be the tide. And even if you hit that roadblock on the tide, it's okay. Even if there's still attempts left, don't worry about it. Make sure you're collecting your loot. You can collect the loot that you get from every tide wave every single day. And eventually, even if you don't do anything in this game, if you just collect your loot, you're going to get more tide points to spend on more tide talents. And these tide talents, they're incredibly strong. Marksman, crit damage plus 45%, attack range plus 1, size increase. What? Crit damage plus 45. I mean, that's insane. So just by getting the tide talents, you're going to make a ton of progress and be able to clear new waves and new content in the tide. And tide gives fantastic rewards, right? I can get my hands on a legendary skill crystal. That's amazing. So even though it doesn't necessarily start out that way, you will hit a wall in tide, but make sure you're coming in there and doing your tide talents and claiming your rewards on a daily basis. Guild boss, we're going to be using every day, using our guild boss. In the beginning, the rewards are very underwhelming, but at the end, that's how you get the most scarce resources in this game. I have a whole video on guild boss strategy that I think would benefit a lot of you guys if you're not familiar, if you've been neglecting the guild boss as well. And then the Pantheon, right? The Pantheon, these stat bonuses that you get apply everywhere in the game. So make sure that we're going ahead and using our Pantheon battles, our faction trial, and make sure that, even again, echoing what I said earlier, right? We can go ahead and invest in a hero even to level 40 or level 50. It might help us get through a faction trial level and get us more upgrades in the Pantheon to help us upgrade our entire account further. And then after all of that, guys, after Guild Boss, after the Tide, after the Pantheon faction trials, I just go to the storyline. Just go to the storyline, because the storyline is not going to guide you in a bad direction, right? It's obviously going to be important because eventually you're going to get your hands on Volca, the final reward for the storyline, but you get great resources along the way, and the rewards that they give you, sometimes they just compensate you on whatever resources you had to do to complete that mission. So after all that's done, I usually just go ahead and take a look at the storyline. Tip number 9, guys, is don't use a ton of stamina in your resource raids, right? So in EXP and gold, without going ahead and buying your multipliers, right? Your gold bonus or your EXP bonus. You're leaving tons of gold and or EXP off the table if you don't go ahead and use your bonuses. Make sure you don't burn a lot of stamina on the resource raids without getting those bonuses activated. And tip number 10, guys, I mentioned this before, but 3 heroes that I absolutely love that everybody gets for free. We already talked quite a bit about Mari. She's so good. On day 3, you get her. You get Wrath right after that, and you can even eventually awaken him. You get a Wrath awakening stone or whatever it is pretty early on as well, after a couple weeks of playing this game. And then after around 30 days, when you get to the Void Rift, you'll get Olog. I didn't even know that I had an awakening material.
Surprised you didn't know that.
Increase the strength of the shield gained by 10%. That's pretty good. I'm actually gonna go ahead and use it. I'm gonna use it. So yeah, Olog, dude. Olog is one of the best defenders in the game, and everybody gets him for free. Wrath is one of the best fighters in this game, even compared to legendaries, and everybody gets him for free. And Mari is one of the best control champions inside this entire game, and everybody gets her for free as well. Those are 3 heroes that you can invest in with confidence in the early game. So if you don't know who to go after or who to put your resources into, to my point earlier in this video, you can never go wrong investing in these 3 heroes, because they will last you and they'll be important to your account even in the end game. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And as always, take care, guys.